Another video, Toro. Another video. Yes. And my doppelganger, Review Tech USA, is doing a video on this, and I really need to do a video on this because I have been out there, with, some of my stuff on Boogie, and I'm trying to see if I still have a One Bad Boogie button. I don't know if I still have a One Bad Boogie button. No, I think I replaced my One Bad Boogie with this guy.
Hogan. Philberto Hogan.
There you go. So I made a nice little meme video called One Bad Boogie, and I just thought we would go ahead and listen to the Boog and see what he has to say to you and I about his experience with vigilante justice and law enforcement. Now, to his credit, I did preview it because I don't want anybody offended or embarrassed. No, I don't care about that, but I do that. That's just my prerequisite. Sometimes when I do stuff like this, I want to preview it, but there's some very good things that Boogie does in here, and he deserves, see that gesture? Just giving him the accolades that he deserves. And he does a few very wise things. One is he listens to his attorney, and two, he is dramatically reduced, at the advice of his attorney, I don't doubt, dramatically reduced his social media presence until the trial is resolved. You're going to have to do that, and I'm surprised you're doing as little as you're doing. Best advice would be to just unplug everything, forever. But, you have an audience to maintain and a lifestyle and a business to maintain, and I understand that. But still, you're like, well, I used to tweet 20, 30 times a day. Now it's 2 or 3 times a day. Don't go over that. And maybe it should be 2 or 3 times a week. Anyway, that's my opinion, but let's go listen to the Booger.
It has been so long since I've sat in this room to film a video. It actually feels really weird.
Good, Boogie.
I have been filming primarily on my iPhone and editing on my iPhone or editing on my laptop. I haven't even touched this computer in a while, so but hopefully I can get used to it.
We're going to pause Boogie when we need to.
Let's talk. I know why a lot of you have clicked on this video because of the title of the thumbnail, and I'm going to talk about it right here at the beginning of the video, but
go ahead.
I have a favor to ask of you before I talk about it.
Yeah.
I want you to make it all the way to the end.
He's still promoting his channel. He's plugging his video.
Listen to what I have to say.
He's plugging engagement. He wants you to watch to the end.
If you're somebody who normally does that, drop a like or dislike on this video. That's
I may eat a piece of cheese while we listen to Boogie.
Leave a comment, positive or negative, doesn't matter. Still an engagement either way. If you really want to go over the top, share this video with other people because I really want people to hear what I have to say in this video. It's really important. So I have to be very careful about what I say here, and I can't go into a lot of detail, but this is what my lawyer has told me I can say publicly.
Good.
So I'm going to say it exactly the way he told me to say it. So due to the incident that happened last September, there was an arrest warrant issued for me on May the 7th. I was made aware of it, and I traveled home as soon as I could and turned myself in on May the 12th. I was processed in about 3.5 hours. We posted bail.
Yeah, they're good at it.
I was processed, and then I've been awaiting in my home ever since, waiting for trial, and that's a pretty slow process. We've entered a plea of not guilty, and my lawyer is doing his job, and keep in mind, this is not going to take a day or a week or a month. I genuinely don't know if it'll be done in 6 months or a year. This is a very slow process, so be prepared for that to be very slow. I know you want to hear more. I know you want me to talk about the individual specifics, but unfortunately, this is a legal proceeding now, and I'm going to do something
sure is.
I'm very bad at doing, and that's keeping my stupid mouth shut. What I can say, though, is that the support that I've gotten from this has been overwhelming, to say the least. Some of the biggest creators on the platform have reached out to me in the end and said very kind things. People have tweeted very kind things. People in my community, my neighbors, my friends, they've all been absurdly supportive, and my audience as well, you watching this. Most of you have been supportive. I mean, there's obviously always going to be outliers and naysayers and contrarians, and those people exist, and it's okay. You're allowed to have your opinion on this. You're allowed to think whatever you want to think.
A little bit.
I support your right to do
I
that.
had your back on that,
Those of you who've chosen the side of
a little bit of tough love, though.
Support, thank you. You're genuinely
Tough
helping
love,
me through this quite a bit. This is loving to do something I've done very little of in the last 14 years, and that is kind of back away from social media. I went from tweeting 20 times a day to tweeting maybe 2 or 3 times a day.
Right.
I went from thinking about YouTube 24 hours a day to just barely thinking about it. I haven't live streamed in a month. This is in a lot of ways just a hobby I used to do.
Be careful.
It feels weird doing it again right now, and I really want to get back to it, but that involves you. A lot of people have expressed a desire to help here, and I really appreciate that. Somebody offered to set up a GoFundMe for legal proceedings, and we're definitely not at that point yet. I don't think it's ever going to come to that point. I have money in the bank. I'm glad to pay for all of this myself. I don't want you worrying about that.
Now, that deserves a mention. What a classy move, Boogie. What a classy move. If you could afford your own legal, it's a lot of money. A criminal case is a crazy money. You're a very successful YouTuber. If you've invested your money at all, if you do anything else on the side to generate revenue, etc., etc., but don't burden your audience with that, and don't use it as an opportunity to shill. You know, I'm sorry, most YouTubers would be out here going, not most, but some of them would be going out here and going, yeah, well, you know, hit my Patreon if you want to support my legal fund. I have my GoFundMe. Here's the link. The link's in the description. Go give me some money. You know, it's a little sad. I'm getting a little tired of being bled for a little drop of money. Oh, do you want to donate this? Do you want to round up for this? Do you want to give for this? I'm like, this culture is bleeding you constantly, is constantly approaching you for little dribs and drabs of money that eventually you run out of drops of blood and die. Okay? And again, I don't want to live my life being constantly pestered to contribute to this or that or the other. It's bad enough. It's bad enough. So when I heard that, I was actually surprised. I was waiting for Boogie to go, here's my GoFundMe. I thought maybe he'll save it to the end of the video and go, well, hit my GoFundMe if you want to support my legal fund or whatever. You know, people are shilling left and right. Everybody is a shill now. Dude, you made a mistake. You committed crimes. Multiples. You committed several crimes, which are serious charges. They're not little misdemeanor charges. They're serious charges. You're in the midst of a legal battle, right? Well, you're in the midst of proceedings. Okay? Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's accountability. But that's what it is. It's supposed to hurt. It's supposed to be costly. It's supposed to take a long time and put your life on hold for a long time. It's designed to be that way. The wheels of justice turn slowly, but they grind finely. Okay? Exceedingly fine. So, you screwed up. You made some bad choices. You made some bad calls. And you're being held accountable. That's grown-up time. That's big boy time. And you're out there going, I don't want your money. I made mistakes. I'm going to deal with it. That's a grown man. And an adult. Grown man or grown woman. That is an adult talking. That is somebody that says, I know I screwed up. My mouth got me into trouble. It's got me into trouble before. I'm a grown person. I have to accept the consequences. And sometimes as a grown person, you have to face down the ruination of your lifestyle that you have built up to a certain point. I don't think that's going to be Boogie. But regardless, sometimes you build a business or a partnership or a marriage and you have to watch it burn down in slow-mo. Some people can't take it. They run off, they check out, they take drastic measures, they commit crimes and more crimes. They can't take the fall. But that's what it is to be an adult. Most adults are going to face some major disappointment, a failure, a loss, whether it's the loss of a loved one, the loss of a career. How many people have been disgraced in a career and can never practice? Or, if you've been disbarred as an attorney, you've spent your whole life building up a career and you spent all that money on the education and you can't use it. You can't practice. You're screwed. You have to go find something to keep yourself alive. You have to get down off that ivory tower and just go be a schlub. Just working a regular job like the rest of us. It happens. It happens. So I just want to say, I wanted to stop the video at this point and just tell Boogie, kudos to you for doing the classy move and footing the bill for your own bullshit. Rant over.
That's something that I can definitely handle.
Good. And we're going to check out the chat with Baltimore Retro Gaming. What's up? What do we have here? I don't know, bro.
For those of you who still want to help you on that, though, good news, you're already doing it. You clicked on this video, you made it this far into this video.
He says, look, watch, like, subscribe, share the video. That helps me out. That is totally legit, bro. You're a content creator. You make videos.
Doing the thing. So just keep doing this thing.
Yeah, he's just like, look, just support the channel, and that helps me out. Totally legit.
Entertain you. It allows you
totally
to
legit.
With your likes and your comments and your kindness online. And boy, I'm thriving on that. It's what's kept me from having daily Twitter meltdowns. The kindness that I've seen on the internet has just made it
good. Stay off Twitter. It's toxic.
The good news, though, is a lifetime of therapy and learning tools and practicing. A nice healthy dose of Zoloft every day. The occasional dose of medical marijuana due to my medical
There
license,
you go, BRG.
And, just practicing with
every day. Smoke weed every day.
will help me do better in this current situation than I have done in any other situation, whether it be my divorce, whether it be my gastric bypass surgery, or just any of the other drama that I've experienced online.
Okay, so let's stop the video right there on that ungratuitous image of Boogie. Boogie is got his on ramp is open for traffic there. So Boogie, come on, buddy, Boogie. All right, second classy move. He is, and he goes on a little bit more about this, but we're going to address that he's on psychotropic medication. Zoloft is heavy duty. It's a well-known psychotropic medication. And there are some individuals that don't need to medicate or self-medicate. I'm one of them. I don't do any of that. I'm not on any psychotropic medication. I don't see a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I don't feel the need to. I'm very happy and very content in my life and have been for decades. There are some people that prefer to self-medicate. They use things like alcohol or marijuana use, which is honestly probably one of the better things because it's not habit forming. It's very calming to certain people. Certain people it's very good for, and other people don't have that kind of reaction to it. But what I would say is, I think medical marijuana is a very good, like, regular use thing for Boogie and people like Boogie that suffer from anger, anxiety, racing thoughts. It just calms people down. and helps them get through those bad patches. And some people have daily bad patches. They wake up with anxiety and they're just like, oh my God, I need a few moments, and then they have to go and smoke some medical marijuana and calm their happy ass down, or they can't even function that day. Sometimes they wake up and it's okay. But medical marijuana is natural, it's organic, it's not addictive, and it's very therapeutic to a lot of people. So, good move, Boogie. Zoloft, that's a heavy-duty depression med. That's a heavy-duty depression med. So, good. Okay. You're obviously under the care of a psychiatrist. You're obviously going through a very difficult time. But as he has said, all of the support, both emotional and chemical, so much of our behavior is tied to chemicals, hormones, and things. We're not, so much is automatic in our biology, as well as our psychology from previous traumas. Like, again, a lot of people that have suffered severe traumas have certain tendencies in dealing with stress that just automatically puts them into a fight or flight, and it affects their functionality. It makes them non-functional or low functionality. And it's like, well, Boogie has sought all the help he possibly could get. He's got an attorney, he's got a psychiatrist, he probably has a psychologist or a counselor of some kind. He has friends and neighbors he's reached out to. When he's going through the stress moments, he's going to medical marijuana, and to mitigate the depression, the feelings of depression, he's on Zoloft. It's a strong med. It's a strong med. I'm like, again, I wish, we didn't, in certain circumstances, you didn't have to resort to those type of heavy duty psychotropics. But good, Boogie. Good. There are some folks that need that level of chemical assistance, and there is no stigma attached. You are seeking help. You are seeking a solution to a brain chemistry situation, be it temporary or permanent. So you're addressing the problem, which is what grown-ups do, which was what big pants wearing folk we do. And you are doing that. So, and he says it himself, which is the highest endorsement. You can see it you can hear it in his voice, where he says, this is of all the difficult times that I've dealt with, and he has dealt with a lot of difficult times. It's written on his face. I feel like I'm dealing with this the best. And do you know why? Boogie, I'm going to tell you why. It's because you handled it like an adult. You screwed up like a kid. You handled it like an adult. And I think this is a good opportunity for you. I think this is a formative opportunity. We get them no matter how old you are. Even though you're held to account as an adult, this is still a development opportunity. And to me, it looks like this has really helped you kind of pop that bubble of influencer of the YouTube. I'm a YouTube personality and I live in this outside world, this fantasy world where laws don't apply. And there's a lot of people that need that wake-up call, Boogie. And maybe you got that wake-up call before you had a harder fall. This is a hard fall for a little while. But you're going to be able to, and it looks like you're going to be able to dust yourself off and keep going with a few dents and dings, but a huge amount of development opportunities to become a more mature person, to enter the ranks of real adulthood, where we're not going to the door with a gun and shooting a gun in the air. Okay? All right, let's go back to Boogie.
I feel like I'm acing this one. I know that's very disappointing to a lot of people. They're here for the drama. They're here for their lol cow to spit milk in their mouth, and that's, I'm trying real hard not to do that for you. I'm sure I'll screw up eventually. between now and whatever happens, I'm hoping to upload to the YouTube channel. I've got a bunch of scripts that I've written down on my phone while traveling, stuff that I wanted to film here, and then eventually I want to get back out.
So funny, I don't use any scripts at all.
The traveling videos are not doing very well, and that's okay. I understand. It's weird to ask people to look at your vacation videos. I know that's exactly what I'm doing. 20, 30,000 of you are watching them, though, and that's great. That's more than I was expecting. I'm really happy for it, but it seems to me that you guys want videos like this. You want set-down videos. You want me to talk about stuff. You want commentary. You want me to go back to videos.
Yes, Boogie.
These are things I'm planning to do between...
Oh, God bless me. All right. One of the things... Oh, God. Oh, my God. One of the things... Oh, my God. Can he go on? Can he go on with the broadcast? I hope so. Okay, one of the things that I said in my original Boogie video was I don't really watch your content because you got away from video games. You were a video game channel, one of the biggest ones on YouTube, and every time I looked back on your channel, I'm like, well, we're not talking about video games. We're talking about this, that, the other, whatever it is. And I'm like, I subscribe to you as a gaming channel. Now, if you want to set up a second channel or you want to convert this channel, you're sending me a mixed message. You're turning into Jim Sterling, where it's like, now we're doing this, now we're doing wrestling, now we're doing Boglins. It's like, huh? It's like, and that's the tyranny of the viewer, okay? The tyranny of the viewer is what they want. And if you're not giving them what they want, they're going to drift off. They're like, I watch Boogie for video games, and, they can just click off. It's not even turning a channel. They can just click off of you in a half a second, like in a millisecond, eye blink. They're gone. Unsubscribe. I don't want that in my feed anymore. So it's the tyranny of the viewer. So you have to decide whether or not you want to succumb to the tyranny or to accommodate the tyranny, or do something else and be satisfied with that result. So when you're getting 20 and 30,000 views on your travel stuff, when your channel is as big as it is, that's like 200 for me, or 20 for me, or it's like the diehards watch it. Your diehard following. That's your hardcore. That's who is your hardcore. That they're in there. They're Boogie. They're like Negan from The Walking Dead. Are you Boogie? Oh, I'm Boogie. They'll go watch whatever you produce because they're Boogie fans. And that probably represents like 5% are the hardcore, the Fata Keen. So I'm just saying, stay in your lane is what I would say.
Between now and whatever happens with this court case. I understand that since 2018, I've become a very controversial figure here on YouTube. And I understand why. I completely lost my mind.
I'm controversial.
And I started doing things that no sane person would ever do under any circumstance. And now that I'm relatively sane, I have to live in the nightmarish hellscape that my mental illness has created for me.
Okay, now here's the other thing. I said in my previous video, I said, Boogie, the smartest thing that you need to do is claim that you have mental health troubles, you have emotional troubles, and that you were put into a situation of extreme stress where you were not appropriately medicated or under the appropriate treatment, and it led to behaviors that wouldn't normally be your response. Okay, that is a legitimate case. That is legitimate to go to in front of a judge and say, and a judge is an attorney who's practiced for a very long time, and then they serve on the bench for quite a lot of judges have served for decades. Okay? So you're talking about somebody that has an intimate knowledge of the law. They are an arbiter of law. Okay? So they work within the law. A lot of people think, well, they're a judge. I'm being judged. Yes, you are under the law. That's why they say under the law, because he's not looking at you and going, oh, well, look at this neckbeard geek gamer dude. No, he's saying, look at this. This is a gentleman who's come in here. He's committed some offenses. Let's get into the details. Let's hear the arguments, and then let's make a determination as to this person's level of responsibility. One of the first things that they establish is, are you of sound mind and sound body, and can we treat you as somebody who has sound judgment and has intentionally committed crimes? That's the person that suffers the greatest penalties, because you knew what you were doing, you knew it was wrong, but you went ahead and did it anyway, and now we have to hold you accountable. You have one of the best defenses available, which is, Your Honor, I'm sorry, I have emotional troubles. I'm under the care of a psychiatrist. We've reviewed my medications, and I'm in a much better place now, and I have a counselor, and I've done this. And you can do all this while the case is pending. So you could go into a judge and go, Judge, I've taken an anger management course. I've made restitution. I understand the laws of my state better. I'm on a different medication, and I'm on a higher dose of my medication, and I'm doing very well. And at that point in time, unfortunately, because of my mental health and my, whatever circumstances that were legitimate at the time that led to this error in judgment, you have a legitimate claim to say, I was not in the appropriate state of mind. The judge now has the ability to say, this person is not of sound mind, or at the time of the crime, or at the time of the infraction, or whatever it is, this person cannot be held to the account that you would hold, say, me. All right? Somebody that is a well-balanced person who, and I'm making that claim without any proof or evidence, but a well-balanced person, you can say, and you see, that's the prosecution is going to say, oh, he knew very well what he was doing, and he was he was mentally fit at the time, because they want the conviction, and they're going to argue that, oh, well, we can't give this guy a pass just because he's had some emotional problems in the past, Your Honor. I mean, it's that kind of back and forth. But Boogie has a history of mental health issues and of childhood abuse, and those can be brought forth into a case to shine light on the matter of whether or not Boogie needs to be held to the same account as somebody without those problems and challenges. And it's not fair to do so. Any conscientious judge who's familiar with the law can look at this situation and say, well, we can't handle this like we would somebody that isn't under the care of a psychiatrist or on psychotropic medication or has a history of abuse and emotional problems and troubles and upheavals and things. We can't hold them to the same account. You can't. It's not a legitimate thing to do. It's just not. It's not fair. The first thing they want to establish in court is this person of sound mind and body? That's why that's in the will and testament, because you're basically saying, I'm not under duress, I'm not injured so that my judgment is cloudy, I'm not mentally addled or I have a mental health problem or I'm under the care of a psychiatrist or anything. You're basically saying, I am of sound mind and sound body. I know what I am doing. I am healthy, I'm alert, and I am putting this down to dispense my worldly goods. Nobody held a gun to my head. Nobody coerced me. I wasn't drunk. That's what literally, I wasn't under the influence when I did it. That's when you say I'm of sound mind. I wasn't under the influence. Okay? So I'm in my best level of judgment when I made out this last will and testament. Okay? The same thing applies in court. Is this person able to be charged as a fully, a well-balanced person who had full faculties, etc., at the time of the incident? Because then you have to say, well, then that's not a contributing factor. This person's mental health wasn't a contributing factor. They weren't intoxicated. They weren't in fear of their life. They weren't this. They weren't that. Well, then you're guilty of that crime. Sorry, but here and you're probably going to get the maximum penalty because you should have used better judgment and you chose not to. So Boogie has a lot of opportunity here, and he states it here that he which is a wise thing, and the lawyer probably said, if you want to talk about your mental health challenges, you can. Because that's his medical information, and if he wishes to share it, he's able to do it. And to be honest, I'm not saying it helps or it hurts him, but he's basically stating, hey, I've got mental health problems, and I'm working on them. I've addressed them. And that's all the court wants to hear. What they don't want to hear is, I've got mental health problems and I've done nothing. They don't want to hear that, because that's an even worse mental health problem, right? So it's like, if you're saying, hey, having a mental health problem or having periods of mental health problem. See, a lot of times people aren't necessarily, they don't have a condition per se. They just go through a bad patch, like a divorce, like a loss of a family member or a pet even. They go through a depression. And some people need medication to get through that so they don't do harm to themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. We're human beings. We go through weak periods of time. We're supposed to seek out support and help from friends, neighbors, and when necessary, medical professionals without embarrassment or stigma. It's not something you should feel like, I'm lesser somehow. No, you're lesser when you ignore it and somebody, including yourself, comes to harm. Let's keep going. That was a big, long freaking rant.
It's not fun. The vast majority of the internet is very critical of me these days. Some for obviously very fair, very reasonable reasons. And then there is that small group of people who...
All right. So he's taking it on the chin. He's saying, look, if you're razzing me and you're funning me and you're critical of what I've done, that is legit. And you know what? Again, that's an adult talking, Boogie. I'm proud of you. Now, he says, of course, there's always that, 2 to 5% that makes, movie, grindhouse movie videos of me called One Bad Boogie.
Feel the need to LARP and make up stuff and pretend stuff that's real that's not, and then they convince other people that the stuff that's not real is real, and then there's a lot of people out there who dislike me for just completely made up reasons, and it's really frustrating.
That shouldn't bother you, Boogie.
But here's what I want to do. I want to entertain you, the person who made
trolls.
it all the way to the end of this video. I want to make videos that entertain and inspire and hopefully educate and just make you
What is
feel
this
good
word
about
inspirational?
The dumpster fire of a world that we're living in. Maybe makes you feel
Tommy
a little bit better
Lahren was
about
like,
yourself.
I could inspire people with my videos. Boogie, these are not inspirational videos. I do not come to BOOGIE2988
and you feel inspired
for
to have
inspiration
a better life than the one I have.
necessarily.
Hey, I'm all for it.
But,
I'm being
okay.
particularly greedy. I would like to find a new audience as well. I would like to win back some of that previous audience that I have lost. And the way that we do that is by you clicking on every video that I upload, by you dropping likes.
Now, he is
on
taking
those
advantage
videos.
of this
If you
opportunity and the notoriety at this point to grow the channel. I got no problem with that. You're a businessman. You wanna plug your brand. Plug your brand, baby. It's your brand. You're on your channel. It's your video. You want to plug? Go on and plug, baby.
But I do think it's
But don't ask me for money.
I do think it's interesting.
Stop asking me for money, internet.
Audience, and I want you to help me find that audience. I don't care about mainstream appeal. I don't want to be Jake or Logan Paul. I don't want to be Philip DeFranco. I definitely don't want to be Wings or Redemption or Darkside Phil. I just want to be me. And I just want to have the small audience that I can foster and
They just name dropped
inspire.
a few.
I just really need your help.
To be honest, I don't want to be Phil DeFranco either.
If you offer that help. So I'm going to go.
All that looking up is going to hurt my neck.
Right now, I'm writing a book. I'm working on a card game. And all that stuff is.
Hey, Roy, hello, Boogie card game.
That stuff and try to keep myself sane while you guys enjoy this video. Guys, as always, you know this. Say it with me.
I love you too, baby.
I love you very much.
We love you, Boogie.
I look forward to being a very sane person for you, if my brain lets me.
All right, buddy. So he basically came out and was letting you know that mental health was tied to this, and that is a good call. Now, and we are going to play, as a tribute to Boogie, we're going to play One Bad Boogie on the way out.
One
God
man.
bless you all. And
One
I love
gun.
you very much.
One
And you're all
bad
great
boogie.
people, and one bad boogie.
Watch as Boogie takes on the mob and becomes a one-man army.